You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Will the Georgia Bulldogs jump the Ole Miss Rebels? What are we going to see done about the Tennessee Volunteers? And what about BYU and Boise State and Colorado? We will be reacting to all of it in this reaction show. Thank you for joining. I am your host, Steven Willis from the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'll be joined in just a second by Mike Huseman, who does a lot of these shows, has a nice little viewpoint over college football as a whole. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Mike, thank you very much for joining us, man. I think tonight's reveal show is an hour long, but they're probably going to spend the first half hour revealing the teams and then the last third half hour just talking about it.
Yep, that's how you get ratings. It's it's the sports version of the Oscars. You can't just hand out the trophies right away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty good. What are the surprises you're expecting tonight? What do you think that people need to be looking for tonight?
So I think there's not going to be a lot of massive changes to look for. The one that will be the most interesting to me is where Tennessee falls to. I think that will impact a lot of that thought process of which, if there is a two-loss team from the SEC that gets left out, we may have an indicator of that today. Conversely, like you said, will Georgia jump Ole Miss? That is another thing we might learn from that. And I think not necessarily in the show, but we have more clarity now in that there will only be one Big 12 team making the CFP. There was a path before where an undefeated BYU who loses the conference title game is a second one. That's done. Kansas took care of that for us. We got one Big 12 team now.
Yeah, one Big 12 team, one ACC team probably. It's going to be Miami or SMU, but it's not going to be both.
I think there is a path where a two-loss Miami could get in if they lose in the conference title game.
They lose to SMU. What would you think would have to happen? They would have to be 6th or 7th on tonight's ranking.
They would. I think a lot has to happen. I just think there is a path to it happening. Yeah.
And in the SEC, now we need to understand, everybody that's watching this show needs to understand there's still 2 weeks worth of football and 2 weeks worth of chaos that can happen. So as it sits right now and all of that, that's a different story because there's a chance that Notre Dame loses to Army. Any team that loses to Northern Illinois can lose to Army, or Ole Miss loses to Florida. Ole Miss lost to Kentucky. They can lose to Florida. Tennessee can lose to Vanderbilt. There's still a lot of football that is left to be played. And a lot of times these type situations, they just have a way of working themselves out.
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation I had with someone yesterday. And there's the talk about all these two-loss SEC teams and, what two-loss SEC team gets left out of the playoffs. Well, there's a chance none of them do, because if you're considering in the conference title game, teams are going to take more losses, and there's a lot that's going to happen. So we may only end up having 2 or 3 two-loss teams, and they probably all get in.
Yeah, the worst two-loss SEC team that would come out would be if Texas lost a game and became a two-loss SEC team.
Yes.
I think the Texas versus Texas A&M game, that is almost a playoff game itself. I mean, that is for the SEC championship, the whole 9 yards. I think if Texas takes a loss, they do not make the playoffs.
That piggybacked off of the conversation I was just talking about. And for me, I don't know if an 11-1 Texas loses the conference title game. I think they still get in.
Yes,
if it's in the regular season, I don't think they get in.
Yeah, and I think the chaos play for anybody that is watching this that is just looking for chaos, the chaos play is you want Auburn to beat Texas A&M, Texas A&M to beat Texas, you want Vanderbilt to beat Tennessee, and then it's like, you've got a whole other problem with a whole bunch of teams that are pretty good, but a 3-loss SEC team is probably not getting in.
No, and before the season started, I talked at length about this with one of my friends up Thorneister, Matthew Berry Fantasy Life, he's kind of a no name. We both thought 9-3 in the SEC would be enough to get you in. It looks like it's not going to anymore. Conversely, he also said a 9-3 Notre Dame probably gets in. That definitely won't happen at this point if they would drop to that.
Let's say Ohio State beats Indiana 38-10, which is possible. It's in the horseshoe.
Yep.
That's absolutely a result that could happen this weekend. What do you do with Indiana at that point?
That's interesting. I think an 11-1 Indiana gets in, but
they have to travel at least.
Yep, you could make the case they shouldn't be in. I disagree with that case. I think coming from the Big Ten or SEC, to be 11-1 and not make it is ridiculous. I think they have to be in, but there is a discussion to be had there. That is valid.
I think in that situation, the playoff committee would figure out a way to have Indiana travel to Tuscaloosa, or whoever that SEC school is that's hosting. Yeah,
or Austin. Something like that.
Yeah. Whichever SEC team is hosting, I think Indiana would be going there. That's what I think they would do.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
And the way that I think this is going to happen, I think that right now 2 Big Ten teams are going to host with 1 SEC team, and there's going to be 1 Big Ten team that travels with 2 SEC teams that travel.
Could be, yeah.
And that is if Boise State's in, and that's if Notre Dame's in, because they're the fourth.
The variable is Notre Dame there, and if they're hosting or not. Yeah.
Yes. So we'll see exactly how this looks. I mean, the rankings are interesting because one of my favorite things that I've seen on social media, essentially over the last couple of days, is just the vitriol and hatred. I mean, it's 4 times worse than the presidential election that just went on. People just arguing this fact. And everybody, like, the only metric that anybody can use against Ole Miss is Kentucky. That is the metric. But if you look at metrics and like things, statisticals and analyticals, they're good. They really are. And like they lead number 1 in game control. Illinois is number 25, UNLV number 24, by the way.
Okay.
So that's a good shape. I want to see where South Carolina ends up as well, because
my Gamecocks find some joy. Yeah. I saw you dogging them on Twitter earlier today, though.
No, I was not dogging. I'm a big fan of South Carolina. I was dogging Shane Beamer for taking a shot at Juice Wells for transferring out whenever he has a chance to get everything that he transferred out for.
Yeah. No,
you being slightly better than you thought. I mean,
and also
Missouri.
I like the guy who tweeted it, but the take he had on it was a little spun too.
Yeah. He's a South Carolina game. Missouri at 23. They did not drop out.
Okay.
Iowa State at 22. Arizona State makes an appearance at 21.
Okay.
So nice little Big 12.
Yeah. I got
representation.
A hypothetical for you. I was arguing with someone, and I'm set in my opinion, but I want your, if Indiana beats Ohio State, someone said that knocks Ohio State out. I said, absolutely not. A 10-2 Ohio State is in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Another situation. Ohio State just travels. They become that team that travels. Yeah. I think they're in. They're good to go. They're as safe as you can be.
That's a weird scenario. Or something like that. That's a weird scenario because if that happens, you could see Ohio State traveling and Penn State hosting, even though Penn State beat them.
Yes. Tulane, number 20. Good for the
another
Green
team
Wave,
that,
by the way.
Another team that could get the G5 spot. It's not outside the realm that they
that is set up for a stumble, I think. Army at number 19.
Yeah.
If Army beats Notre Dame, they're going to pass Boise State. I'm going to tell you that right now. They'll pass Boise State.
Fascinating scenario, too. If Army wins their conference title game and gets in the playoff, they have the Navy game the week after. So they're almost de-incentivized of playing guys against Navy with the playoff game the week after.
Carolina, number 18. Clemson, number 17.
Yeah. Boo.
Yeah. That Clemson South Carolina game is going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be wild.
It's going to be a fun game.
Yeah. It's in Clemson.
Colorado, number 16. They only moved up 1 spot.
Yeah. They don't need it. For them, it's winning the conference title. That's all you got to do now.
Yeah. It means BYU is ahead of them.
Yeah. I would argue they should be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're what, 8-1, 9-1, something like that. So yeah.
They are 9-1.
Yeah.
We're
We're getting to 15, and this next map that they go through, we are on Tennessee watch. Texas A&M at number 15. That's a good spot. Texas A&M beats Texas. They're in the playoff. It's simple. They control their own destiny. Win 2 games, they're in the playoff. BYU number 14. They fell 8 spots. That's good news for Tennessee. That is good news for Georgia. The bottom part of the playoffs. So
that's a big drop.
That was a big drop. But also
probably well deserved though when you lose to a 3-16.
Yeah, get beat by Kansas.
Yeah.
Which that point spread, that felt like a trap line the entire time.
Yeah.
That whole line felt like a trap.
And I knew a lot of the sharps that were on Kansas hard because they're playing better and they started off terrible. So
And this week, the line that they're doing that, by the way, is Texas A&M and Auburn.
Yes.
94% of the money is on Texas A&M, and the line is not moving at 2.5 points. A&M's favored.
Wow.
SMU number 13. So we are at the point. Actually, Boise State made it into the top 12. So we're going to be looking at a top 12 that is all the playoffs, it looks like.
I just found a feed where they're announcing it. So I'm a few seconds behind you, but not too much. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see how it goes.
I am fascinated about this SMU team if they get in. Like they're very interesting to me. I don't think they can win it, but they'd be fun to watch anyway.
Boise State is 12. SMU, by the way, is making no money for the ACC for like 3 years. They are literally pay to play right now, and they are going to run that conference. It looks like it. Who would have thought that SMU would have been really good in a pay for play situation?
Yeah, funny. Like, one of the best tweets I ever saw was the least shocking thing is SMU being good at NIL.
Yeah. SMU invented NIL in 1981. I mean, Tennessee at number 11. Tennessee comes in at number 11, which means they're in the playoffs as it sits right now, I think. Because Boise State being the 12,
Boise's
Miami.
12. Well, no,
Georgia
we don't have do we have a Big 12 team that's still – so Tennessee would be the first out at this point.
Georgia at number 10, they did not jump Ole Miss.
Okay.
So it means Ole Miss is at number 9.
Yeah.
That is absolutely fantastic, which means Bama is going to be at number 8.
Yeah.
Or Miami. Bama could have jumped Miami. But Ole Miss moved up safely into the playoffs at this point.
Yeah. Tennessee would be the first out, though, because all the Big 12 teams were outside of the top 12.
Miami at number 8. So Alabama jumped up to number 7, likely.
Okay. Yes.
This is actually a good – I don't know if anybody can complain about these rankings.
I don't know if – think do you think Alabama jumps Notre Dame possibly?
No, Alabama came in at number 7. Notre Dame's going to be number 6, and then Indiana will probably be 5.
Yeah.
I think these rankings are about as good as they can be. I mean –
I can't believe complaints with them before. Yeah.
I think it's hilarious that Alabama beat Mercer and jumped up 3 spots, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Notre Dame at number 6. That leaves Indiana probably at number 5.
One would think.
See.
Yeah.
The 8-9 matchup is Miami, Ole Miss traveling to Coral Gables, I think, for Miami.
God, that would be an amazing. That would be such a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to see what the bracket looks like, but just the 8-9 thing, if it goes.
I'm going to write it down once they. So I can have a visual there.
But number 5, Indiana Hoosiers, their strength of schedule is 106. Like I said, if Indiana loses to Ohio State, they might not tumble out of the playoffs.
They might not.
But they're going to tumble down to the 12 or something like that.
They'll be 10 or 11, I think, and the G5 team is 12. Yeah.
Yeah. And Boise State has a chance to get a bye. A real chance to get a bye. It might be the Big 12 team that is the 5th conference champion.
It could be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely crazy because everybody's talking about the G5 game at number 12 and all that. It'd be kind of funny if Boise State ended up getting the bye. But Indiana is 5th.
Yeah.
And we get into the top 4 right now.
Penn State is 4. Yep.
Penn State's 4. 3 will be Texas, 2 will be Ohio State, and 1 will be Oregon. Texas is 3.
As it should be. Yeah.
Yes. I have no problem with these rankings. I don't think anybody can have problems with these rankings. So with these rankings coming out, I'm going to take a short break. When we come back, we are going to talk a lot about that with Mike and break down exactly what's going on. This is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. All right. I wasn't quite ready for what was going on, but I'll bring this right now. I do want to let you know, I love a good deal as much as anyone, but I'm not about to crawl through a cactus field just to save a few bucks. A deal has to be easy, no hoops, no nonsense. So when Mint Mobile said that I could get wireless for $15 a month with a purchase of a 3-month plan, I was all about it. So switching to Mint Mobile was ridiculously simple. The hardest part was sitting down and telling my old provider, it's not me, it's you. Here's the deal with Mint Mobile. All with 3 months plans are worth $15 a month. Even the unlimited plan, you get high-speed data, unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. Cut your wireless bill by $15 a month at mintmobile.com. That requires a $45 upfront payment required. That's the equal of 3 months at $15 each. New customers on a 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigs on unlimited plan. Additional taxes and fees and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for more details. And that's it. Affordable premium wireless made easy. Mint Mobile. Have you ever heard of the South's favorite pickle? I'm talking about Stewart's Cajun pickles. And I think if you don't like pickles, it's probably because you haven't tried these yet. These pickles are fresh and crunchy with just the right amount of Cajun kick to keep you coming back for more. They're not just delicious. They're also handmade by family-owned companies on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. So every bite is packed with that authentic Southern flavor. But Stewart's doesn't stop at just pickles. They've got pickled green beans, okras, carrots, asparagus, perfect for spicing up your snack game. You can find these amazing products at Rouse's, Sullivan's, Corner Market in Hattiesburg, and even some Gulf Coast Winn-Dixies. Or if you prefer shopping online, you can check them out at thepickledstore.com. Make sure to give them a like and follow on Facebook and Instagram. So when you shop local and try these pickles, I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, the South's favorite pickle. All right, so they put it up while I was doing these ad reads, and everybody's following on. That was Ole Miss traveling to Bloomington right now, the way it's set up. Ole Miss is going to the number 5 team, and from there, I think they would have the 4 in the next round, the way that's set up. So it would be like if Penn State was seeded or something like that, or no, Boise State as the 4. So it's
Boise's the 4,
yeah, Indiana and then Boise State. And I don't know if anybody that wouldn't sign up for that right now.
Wouldn't Ohio State have? I don't think they'd have the 4.
Oh, that's right. Ohio. That's right. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to figure out these projections because these weird rankings. So it's Ole Miss as the
I
9
think it
seed.
would be if they win it. If my math is right, it would be Texas.
So I'm just trying to look at this thing. Yeah, I think you're right. Ole Miss plays
Texas.
The 10-7 match against Indiana, and if they win, they play the 3.
That'd be Miami.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see exactly. The next time they bring the bracket up, we'll know because, they do so much crazy, weird math. That it is what it is. But I think all Ole Miss fans would sign up for a road game in Indiana right now.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's like, hey, can we just go ahead and seal that, sign that away in blood? I think they'd be all about that. Let's bring up the comments and see what's happening right now in the comment section if something comes up. So
we would definitely have some fun first-round matchups, though. Georgia going to Penn State, Alabama going to Notre Dame. I mean, that's blue blood central right there.
Yes. Looking, let's see. The guesses coming in, I'm going to get through here and see what's going on. Haitian Scarface says, I wish we played Bama. And he also wants some Ohio State. Like I said, until I see the brackets, I was doing a reader when it popped up the first time, so I'm trying to do some quick math. So, yeah, sometimes, I mess that up quite a bit. Matthew Mitchell says Ole Miss and Miami would be a zoo, but that wasn't it. It was obviously Indiana.
Yeah.
Texas and Texas A&M played the weakest strength of schedule in the SEC. It doesn't matter. Whoever wins that game has a chance. They have a legit chance. unless Auburn beats A&M this weekend, then A&M beats Texas, then they might neither make it into the playoff.
Then we could have a Georgia, Alabama, or Ole Miss, any combo of teams in the conference title game. Yeah.
Matthew Mitchell, 8 versus 9 would play 1, which is Oregon.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a complete brain freeze on that one.
I have it written down. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be the Rose Bowl, right?
Yes. Yes, it would.
Yeah, they would sign up for that right now.
Yeah. Indiana, Ole Miss would go to Texas as it is now.
Yeah. Indiana, Ole Miss, Texas, and then the next round they would be in the bracket with the 2 seed, right? Is that the way that works?
Yes. Yeah.
Or the 3 seed. So they would be on the same side of the bracket with the Miami Hurricanes. Right?
No, Indiana, Ole Miss, the 7-10 would go with the 2 seed.
Yeah, but the other way, if you win the 2 seed, you have the 3 seed waiting, which would be the Miami Hurricanes, and the 4th one would be the national title. So you could avoid the 1 seed into the championship game.
So Miami,
my NCAA tournament math is a little bit slow. So I apologize.
Miami, Penn State, Georgia is those other 3. Yeah.
Let's see.
Right now, Ohio State has to be loving themselves. BYU at home, go to Boise. You're liking your odds if you're the Buckeyes right now.
My goodness, how blessed is that draw? Oh my! And let's see. And then waiting for them if they beat Boise and BYU, that would be Oregon, right?
Oh, the rematch. Yeah, it would be.
So that'd be awesome. It would be awesome indeed. All right, we're going to take one more break. When we come back, we are going to finish this up. Ole Miss comes in at the, what is it? The 10 seed is where they are in the college football playoff rankings. Their college football playoff ranked number 9. Boise slipped in as that 4 bye seed. So they're sitting pretty as far as in the playoffs. So if Ole Miss wins out, they are good to go. Anybody, when we come back, we will wrap it up. So stick around. Hey, folks, the holiday season is here, and let's be honest, it's not always easy finding the perfect gift, is it? Maybe you're shopping for someone who seems to have everything, or you're tired of giving gifts that just end up as clutter. Or if you're like me, you might want to give a special way to stay connected with a loved one that are far away. Well, I've got the perfect gift idea for you. The Skylight Frame is a touchscreen digital photo frame that your whole family will absolutely love. This is why it's amazing. It's easy to use. Setup takes less than 60 seconds. Just plug it in, connect to Wi-Fi, and boom, you're ready to go. Seamless share. You can send photos straight to the frame using the mobile app or even email them. It's so simple. Even your not so tech savvy relatives can join in on the fun. It's beautifully designed. Choose from different frame styles to match your room, and with HD resolution, your photos look stunning. Gift mode makes it extra special. You can preload it with cherished memories before gifting it, so when they open it, they see all the sentimental photos already there. And here's the best part. As a special limited time offer for our listeners, you can get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame. Just go to skylightframe.com/college. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com/college. Don't wait. Head to skylightframe.com/college and get $20 off today. Stay connected and make this holiday season forgettable. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel. It's America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Right now, Ole Miss is a 10.5-point favorite over the Florida Gators on Saturday, and I have a big hunch this team is about to roll. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view play-by-play, and so much more on the same page that you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets. If your first $5 bet wins, that's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, so we are back in, and we're going to wrap this up with the show in about the next 5 minutes. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in today. But this has been the live reaction to that. Ole Miss is on the 10th place in the bracket. They're the college football ranking 9th ranked team. So they're well into the college football playoff in the moment. BYU did not drop all the way out. They did not drop below Colorado. They're sitting at the 12 spot as kind of a Tennessee versus BYU argument right now, Mike.
Yeah. And that argument hopefully will get taken care of through the playoff. You know, if BYU wins their conference title, they will be in, and that would be it. But I don't know what happens there, you know, in that, you know, we assume that conference is getting one team in, like we had talked about before. Tennessee, the way it looks now, for Tennessee to get in, it's probably going to take one of those Big Ten teams to get knocked out. I think Indiana or Penn State would probably have to lose one.
Either that or an upset. Georgia Tech or Florida, or heck, Auburn beating Alabama would put Alabama out of the tournament.
Or dare I say it, the Egg Bowl.
Yeah, the Egg Bowl could be weird, but that Mississippi State team,
they're so bad. They're so bad.
Yeah, that's a bad.
I mean, they can't run the ball. They can't play defense.
Yeah. But the pod that Ole Miss is in, with Ole Miss, Indiana, and Texas, and their three, the three that they're attached to is Georgia, Penn State, and Miami.
Yep.
That's a fun pod. I would sign up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I would watch every one of these games. The worst game on this board would be the Ohio State BYU game.
Spread-wise, it would be the most lopsided by far.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm glad that the committee honestly respected the fact that Ole Miss beat Georgia by 3 scores. And they did.
Definitely.
That had to be respected. I understand that 2 months ago, Ole Miss lost to Kentucky. I get that. But last week, Ole Miss handled Georgia by 3 scores, and that was important.
Yeah, they've been doing the right things lately. And, you know, the week before that, you know, they just dominated Arkansas, who is neither here nor there, but they're an average team.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be good. And Tennessee fans, if you're watching this, you're probably very upset. I'm sure X is melting down as we speak right now. Absolutely melting down. But you're literally one upset away from being in.
Yeah.
I mean, just period. So you're in the exact position Georgia was in a week ago, and then Georgia is safely in now. You know?
Yes.
So just it can change really quick. Ohio State has to play Penn State. I mean, Ohio State has to play Indiana. Penn State has to go to Minnesota. That has a chance to be chaos. Army has a chance to take out Notre Dame. And, of course, the Auburn-Texas A&M thing, because I do think the best upset that Tennessee has, the best chance they have, is Auburn taking care of business against A&M and A&M taking care of business against Texas.
Yeah.
Because Tennessee does have a better resume than Texas at the moment.
Do. Yeah.
If they lose to A&M, if they lose to A&M, they have no doubt they do.
And I think Indiana is probably safely in because they lose to Ohio State, whatever. They play Purdue the week after, who's probably the worst P4 team in the country. They are just god-awful. Indiana's not going to lose to them.
Yeah. Yeah, so the 11-1 is almost guaranteed to happen.
Yeah.
But, hey, I'm going to say this right now because everybody talks about if Ohio State blows out Indiana. If Indiana wins that game, nobody can say anything about schedule anymore. Nothing. Not a single thing. And the same thing happens when if Texas beats A&M, you've beat somebody at that point with a number beside their name. You can't say anything about their schedule anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way that works. When you get the opportunity, it might not be a big opportunity. It might not be a great opportunity, but when you get that opportunity and you take advantage of it, that needs to be rewarded. So we'll see exactly. And, you know, and honestly,
I will say for Texas too, and in the moment, we don't think of it, but if you would have looked at Texas's schedule in the preseason, we wouldn't have thought it would be this bad. We expected Michigan would be better. We thought Mississippi State, Oklahoma would be better. Florida, they were so injured that game. They were fielding their backup pretty much everywhere. I mean, it's turned out nice for Texas in ways we didn't think it would.
Yeah, honestly, Big 12 teams have had a tougher schedule than the Texas Longhorns. It's not even close. But like I said, if Texas beats Texas A&M with a number beside their name, you can't take that away from them. They took their 1 out of 2 opportunities. Now, the Georgia game notwithstanding, kind of is what it is. Anyway, Mike, thank you very much for stopping by, and thanks everybody for watching this. Next Tuesday, we're going to be doing the Rankings Live React again. I'm about to record the SEC Squad show and a little hit for Locked On College Football. But Mike, thanks for stopping by, buddy.
Glad to be here. I'll see you guys soon.